Welcome back to Mental Math Percentages. Well, everything's all fine and dandy when we have a number that ends in 0, like 40 and 700. But what if we have a value that doesn't end in 0, like 12? Well, we can still use mental math to help us find all of these percentages, like 10% and 20% and 40% and 50%, and let's skip ahead to 80% and 100%. Ooh, there's an extra percent left over. What should we find? I think we should find 5%. Okay, so I always like to start with 10%. It is so easy to find 10% of any value because all you have to do is divide the number by 10. So remember, dividing the number by 10 means you move the decimal over one place to the left. So 12 divided by 10 is 1.2, or 1 2/10. So if I want to find 20% of that, I can see a lot, I can sense it. A lot of you are panicking right now because there's a decimal. But think of it as 12. What would double 12 be? It would be 24. The decimal place value does not change. And then let's continue. Let's keep doubling. 40% would be 4 8/10. Let's skip over 50 for now. Let's go to 80% since we're on a roll, baby. We on a roll. 9.6 or 9 6/10. And then 100% of 12 is 12. And if you think about it, this makes sense. 80% is really close to 100%. So if you're ever sure you're not doing the problem correctly, take a look. If you got 4.6 for this answer, I would say that's probably not correct because 4.6 is really far away from 12. All right, let's go back here to our 50% and 5%. Well, 50% of 12. Oh, yes, a nice, easy one. Half of 12 is 6. So let's look here at 5%. So remember, 5% is half of what your 10% value is going to be. Well, you're probably freaking out. Calm down. Calm down. Take a breath. It's okay. I know there's decimals. So what is half of 1.2? It's okay if you don't know this off the top of your head, but you just told me what half of 12 was. Well, half of 12 is 6. So half of 1 2/10 is going to be 6/10. And if when in doubt, divide it out. There's no shame in coming over here to the side and just doing the division out on paper. No shame, no shame. Okay, let's say we've got a super strange number. Don't mind me, I like to doodle in math. I'm strange like that. Okay, so let's say we want to find all these mental math percentages of 8. 8's a small number, but we can still make it work. So let's do 10%, 20%, 40%, 50%, 80%, 100%, and 5%. Okay, so in your minds right now, think, what is 10% of 8? So again, we're going to divide 8 by 10. Well, since 10 is larger than 8, you know this is going to have a decimal. So just like before, dividing by 10 means you move the decimal over once to the left. So 10% of 8 is 8/10. And then let's continue to double it. Calm down. I know there's decimals. It's going to be okay because just keep doubling 8. So 20% would be 1 6/10. 40%, 3 2/10. I'm just doing doubling in my head. But again, if you want to just add to be extra sure, there is no shame in that. Just to make extra sure your calculations are correct if you don't feel confident doubling in your head. Let's skip over 50. Well, no, let's do 50. Let's do 50 because it's a nice, easy one. Okay, half of 50 is 4. Let's move on to 80. So I'm going to look over here at 40%, and I'm going to double 3.2. So 80% of 8 is 6.4, and 100% of 8 is 8. So let's find 5% really quickly. So 10% of 8 is 8/10. What would 5% be? It's going to be half of 8/10. Well, what is half of 8? It's 4. So what is half of 8/10? 4/10. All right, that's a lot to chew. Please, please, please send me an email if you have any questions. Hang in there. You got this.